Hi, welcome back to Bookworm. Today's book is about a relationship you live with every single day, whether you notice it or not. The relationship you have with yourself. Most of us don't realize how harsh that relationship has become. We push ourselves, we analyze our mistakes, we replay conversations, and when things go wrong, we talk to ourselves in ways we would never talk to someone we love. A lot of people think that voice is necessary, that without self criticism, they'll become lazy or complacent. This book helped me understand something very different. Self compassion explains that being hard on yourself doesn't actually make you stronger. It makes you exhausted. It keeps you in a constant state of tension, always trying to prove that you're good enough, productive enough, or improving fast enough. If you're reflective, ambitious, or deeply self aware, this inner pressure can feel normal. It can even feel responsible. But over time, it slowly turns into burnout, shame, and emotional fatigue. This book isn't about lowering standards or avoiding accountability. It's about learning how to support yourself through difficulty instead of attacking yourself for it. As you watch, I don't want you to judge your thoughts or try to change anything. Just notice how you speak to yourself when something goes wrong. Before we continue, if you value calm, honest conversations about emotional health and growth, please like the video and subscribe to Bookworm. It helps the channel grow and it tells me to keep making content like this. All right, let's step into the ideas behind self-compassion and explore why kindness toward yourself might be the missing piece you've been pushing away.
Hello and welcome. Today we're diving into an idea that is so simple, but honestly, it can be life-changing. We're talking about self-compassion, and we'll be looking at the incredible work of Dr. Kristen Neff to really understand the science and the practice of changing the relationship we have with ourselves. So let's just start with this question right here. I want you to really think about it for a second. That voice in your head, you know the one, when you mess up or you feel like you just didn't do enough. What does it sound like? What does it say? And then ask yourself this. Would you ever talk to a friend you care about that way? I'm guessing for almost all of us, the answer is no way. So why on earth are we so tough on ourselves? This isn't a new struggle. T.S. Eliot nailed it with this quote. He talks about this severe and speechless critic living inside us. And that word terrorize, that's pretty strong, but sometimes it feels true, doesn't it? It's this voice that pushes us and judges us, and it's the source of so much of our anxiety. This is the voice we're going to get to know today. We're going to understand it, and we're going to learn how to relate to it in a much, much kinder way. So where does this voice even come from? Well, a huge part of it is the world we live in. I mean, think about it. We're all supposed to be special, right? We have to be above average. But here's the thing, logically, mathematically, we can't all be above average. It's impossible. And that simple fact sets us up for a lifetime of feeling like we're not good enough. And it creates this thing we can call the self-criticism trap. Let's just listen in on what this inner critic sounds like. Because no one else can hear it, it can be unbelievably cruel. We look in the mirror, and a thought like this just flashes through our mind. It's sharp, it's painful, and it's a deeply personal attack. Or maybe you're at home after a party replaying a conversation in your head. You said something that came out wrong, or you just felt awkward. And what does the critic say? It doesn't say, oh, don't worry about it. No, it jumps in with something like this. And that feeling of shame can just be overwhelming. It makes you want to crawl into a hole. And then there are the times it goes for the jugular. When we get rejected or we fail at something important, the critic uses it as evidence, proof that we're fundamentally flawed. This kind of brutal self-talk is so common, and all the research shows it's a direct line to things like anxiety and depression. Okay. Now this idea right here is a total game changer. Your self-criticism isn't you being broken or weak. Dr. Neff's work points to evolutionary psychology and explains it as an old, outdated survival strategy. Think about our ancestors. Being part of the tribe, the pack, was everything. Getting kicked out meant you probably wouldn't survive. So this internal alarm system developed to police our behavior, to find our flaws and fix them before the pack could reject us. It was trying to keep us safe. The problem is that old software is still running, and in our modern world, it's causing us a whole lot of pain. So, if that harsh critic is just our brain's misguided attempt to protect us, what do we do? What's the alternative? Well, the answer is self-compassion. And the best part is, this isn't something you either have or you don't. It is absolutely a skill. It's a practice, something anyone can learn. It's a much kinder way forward. This is it. This is the whole idea in a nutshell. It's so simple, but for so many of us, it feels completely radical. Just imagine for a second that you failed a big test, or you didn't get a promotion you wanted. Now, what would you say to a close friend in that exact same situation? You'd probably say, hey, it's okay. You did your best. I'm here for you, right? Self-compassion is just about learning to turn that supportive, kind voice inward. Now, it is so important to understand that self-compassion is not the same as self-esteem. Self-esteem is all about evaluation. It's conditional. It needs you to feel special, to be better than others. It's like a roller coaster, right? It goes up when you succeed and it crashes when you fail. And constantly trying to keep it up can even lead to things like narcissism. But self-compassion, it's completely different. It's unconditional. It's a stable, lasting source of self-worth because it's not based on judging yourself at all. It doesn't vanish when you mess up. Actually, that's exactly when you need it the most. It reminds you that being imperfect is just part of being human. So how do we actually do this? Well, Dr. Neff breaks it down into 3 core parts. First, there's self-kindness. This is the active piece of it. Instead of attacking ourselves when we're hurting, we actively try to soothe and comfort ourselves. Simple as that. Second, there's common humanity. This is a huge perspective shift. Instead of feeling all alone in our failure, thinking, why is this happening to me? We remember that everyone struggles, everyone fails. Suffering is part of the shared human condition. It connects us. And third, there's mindfulness. This just means we have to actually notice that we're in pain without getting totally swept away by it. We see our thoughts and feelings clearly, which gives us a little bit of space to respond with that kindness. Okay, so right about now, a lot of people start to feel some resistance. A big but comes up. And that's totally normal. Most of us have been taught our whole lives that being hard on ourselves is what keeps us motivated and on track. So let's just talk directly about those fears. This is the big one, isn't it? The number one fear. It's basically our inner critic trying to keep its job. It's that fear that if we stop cracking the whip, we'll just end up on the couch eating ice cream all day and never get anything done. But is that truly what compassion is? Let's be really, really clear on what self-compassion is and what it is not. First, it is not self-pity. Self-pity makes you feel isolated. It's all about poor me. Self-compassion connects you to others. It's about we're all in this together. Second, it is not self-indulgence. Self-indulgence is about chasing short-term pleasure, even if it's bad for us later. True compassion is about wanting what is genuinely good for our long-term health and growth. And this one is key. It is not about making excuses. In fact, because self-compassion creates emotional safety, it actually makes it easier to admit our mistakes and take responsibility, because we're not so terrified of the self-hatred that usually follows. And that brings us to maybe the most surprising and powerful part of this whole idea. It turns out that self-compassion is a way better motivator than self-criticism. We think we need that inner drill sergeant to get things done, but the research is pretty clear. There's a much more effective way. Let's just compare the two. Motivation by fear, that self-criticism, is all about trying to avoid the pain of being yelled at by that inner voice. And that just creates a ton of anxiety and fear of failure. It's what leads to procrastination, because if you don't really try, you can't really fail, right? But motivation by care, that self-compassion, it comes from a totally different place. It comes from a genuine desire for you to be happy and healthy. It's an encouraging voice. It actually builds resilience because failure isn't the end of the world. It's just a chance to learn. This quote right here, it just captures the entire shift perfectly. Self-criticism is stuck on one question. Am I good enough? Am I measuring up? And it's exhausting. Self-compassion changes the question completely. It asks, what's good for me? What do I actually need right now to be healthy and to thrive? It's a fundamental shift from judgment to genuine care. So at the end of the day, this whole practice isn't about being weak or letting yourself off the hook. It is the exact opposite. Self-compassion is a source of incredible emotional strength. It's what gives us the ability to get through the tough stuff in life with grace and to build real, lasting resilience. So how does it actually make you stronger? Well, because you're not so afraid of that inner critic anymore, you have the safety you need to look at your mistakes honestly and actually learn from them. It lowers performance anxiety, which so often gets in our way. It encourages a growth mindset, that belief that you can improve, instead of a fixed mindset where failure feels permanent. All the data shows it leads to more optimism, more happiness, and maybe the most important thing of all, it gives you the courage to get back up and try again after you've been knocked down. And this is the beautiful paradox of it all. We think being hard on ourselves is what pushes us to achieve more. But in reality, that fear holds us back. It makes us play it safe. When you know that messing up will be met with kindness and understanding instead of abuse, you become free. You're liberated to take risks, to really challenge yourself, and to go after your goals with a whole new level of courage. Look, life is always going to be uncertain. We can't always win. We can't always be above average. Our self-esteem is going to go up and down. But self-compassion is different. It's an internal resource. It's a safe place inside you that is always, always there, no matter what's happening on the outside. It's like learning how to come home to yourself. So we'll just leave you with this question. And it's not a trick question, it's a real invitation. Just think about it. What would actually change in your life? Your work, your relationships, your happiness. If starting right now, you made a commitment to treat yourself with the same kindness you give so freely to the people you care about.
Welcome back. Before you move on, I want to slow things down for a moment because this book isn't meant to motivate you. It's meant to soften something. If self-compassion resonated with you, it's probably because you recognize that inner voice, the one that steps in when you fail, struggle, or fall behind, and rarely offers understanding. One of the most important things this book reminds us is that kindness toward yourself isn't weakness. It's a form of emotional stability. When you stop attacking yourself for being human, you create space to recover, reflect, and actually grow. You don't become careless by practicing self-compassion. You become more resilient. You don't need to change how you treat yourself overnight, and you don't need to silence your inner critic completely. Sometimes the shift begins simply by noticing when that voice appears and choosing not to let it run the conversation. If this video helped you feel a little less alone in your inner struggles, please take a moment to like it. And if you want more conversations like this, thoughtful, calm, and emotionally honest, make sure you're subscribed to Bookworm. If you feel comfortable sharing, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What is one moment where you wish you could be kinder to yourself? Thank you for spending this time here. Take what resonated, leave what didn't, and be gentle with yourself as you move forward. I'll see you in the next one.